With the next speaker, Dr. Pradeep Vyas. He is going to talk on newer updates in medical and laser treatment in India. Over to you, Dr. Pradeep Vyas.
Well, can you see the slides?
Yeah, you're audible and visible, sir.
Okay. Good evening, and thanks Amit and Scientific Committee of AIOS for having given me this opportunity. I would be talking on the newer updates in the medical and the laser treatment. Why we want newer updates in the medical management? So currently we have many medication in our armamentarium to treat the glaucoma. But unfortunately, none of the currently available medication is free of systemic and local side effects. Many of these drugs, they do not lower the intraocular pressure throughout 24 hours, particularly the beta blocker and the alpha-2 agonist. Many patients are unable to tolerate one or more of these medications. And even when all four agents are used in combination, then also they are not able to lower the intraocular pressure adequately. So obviously there is a quest for new molecules. So what we are looking for? We are looking for a molecule which has a novel mechanism of action, which almost mimic like the physiological mechanism of regulating the intraocular pressure. And the drug we are looking for should be highly effective both during night and during the daytime. Preferably with additional pharmacological properties like what we have been talking theoretically is a neuroprotection and vasoprotection. And obviously, the dosing should be minimal, like the prostaglandin analog once a day. It should be better tolerable and affordable to the patient. Look at this. You know, this lady was on the carbonic anhydrase inhibitor and the PG analog, and you can see that lots of hyperemia. Look at this lady. This was on the PG analog and so much of hyperemia. This young gentleman has used the PG analog for quite a few years, and he has developed the prostaglandin-associated periorbitopathy. This gentleman was on the alpha-2 agonist for a couple of years and developed lots of excoriation and skin allergy. So you can look at this photograph and you can see that what problem we have with our current medication in the glaucoma. Look at the history of the glaucoma medication. We have so many medication in our armamentarium, and history goes way beyond 150 years when the pilocarpine was introduced. Pilocarpine still has its own role to play in the medical management of glaucoma, particularly angular fusel glaucoma. And 50-year-old medication is the beta blocker. It is a timolol maleate, and still it remains a gold standard anti-glaucoma drug in India. And the best drug was introduced way back in 1996 was the PG analog, the latanoprost. A couple of years back, it was introduced in the Japan, and that was a uniproston. But the efficacy of the uniproston was much less as compared to the latanoprost. Following that, for almost 20-25 years, we developed some medication, but of the same group, not of the different group. Recently, there is some excitement in the medical management of the glaucoma. So basically, we are using the 4 class, and if you include pilocarpine as well, then we are using the 5 class of the medication to treat the glaucoma. Most important is the PG analog, where we are using the latanoprost, travoprost, tefluprost, uniproston, and bimetoprost. Other is the beta blocker, where the timolol is the most popular. Out of the alpha-2 agonist, the primordial is the most popular. And for the carbonic anhydrase inhibitor, we are using the torzolamide and the brinzolamide and oral acetazolamide. So look for what we are looking for is for the advances in the medical management. And these advances could be in the form of the new molecules, the new combination, and the new drug delivery system. So the first drug is not a new molecule, but obviously it's a new exciting PG analog, which has a dual mechanism of action. It is like a PG analog, plus it has a property of nitric oxide releasing because of the butanediol mononitrate, which is present in this. So once it penetrates the cornea, it disintegrates into these two components, and it releases the nitric oxide, and Vyzulta is the brand name of the drug. And this prostaglandin analog, this is the latanoprostene, reduces the intraocular pressure similar to the other PG analog. But because of this nitric oxide releasing property, it relaxes the trabecular meshwork. So there is some additional lowering in the intraocular pressure as compared to the other PG analog. Apart from that, because all of us knows that the nitric oxide is capable of dilating the blood vessel, so it might be having some neuroprotective property as well. And it is a pretty potent PG analog because of its dual mechanism of action, and it reduces the intraocular pressure by almost 7 to 9 millimeter of mercury from the baseline. The other molecule is a very exciting molecule because obviously it has a separate mechanism of action, and that is the ROCK inhibitor. The molecule is nitarsodil and the riposodil. The nitarsodil was introduced in the USA, and riposodil was introduced in the Japanese market about a few years before. The nitarsodil is used as a once-a-day dosing, and it has a dual mechanism of action. The dual mechanism of action is through the ROCK and the NET. NET is the norepinephrine transporter. So how it acts, I will explain you in this slide. You just look at this. This is the canal of the Schlemm. This is the trabecular meshwork, and these are the intratrabecular cells. And this is the juxtatrabecular matrix. And this juxtatrabecular matrix has a tight junction of these cells. So what this ROCK inhibitor does, it relaxes the smooth muscles over here. So because of that, this junction gets relaxed, and there is a relaxation of the trabecular meshwork. And obviously, it does the remodeling of the trabecular cells as well. So because of that, there is more spacing between these cells. So because of that, there is some excessive aggression of the aqueous humor from the trabecular meshwork to the canal of Schlemm. So because of these two mechanisms of action, it has the capability of reducing the intraocular pressure more than what the beta blocker reduces the intraocular pressure. That's why it's a non-inferior to the beta blocker. And this schematic diagram shows the two mechanisms of action more clearly. The norepinephrine transporter acts exactly like the beta blocker because again it acts through the autonomous nervous system. So it inhibits the production of the aqueous humor, and the ROCK inhibitor enhances the aggression of the aqueous. There might be one more mechanism of action because of the episcleral venous dilatation, because the ROCK inhibitor is a potent vasodilator. So because then if this mechanism of action is there, then it has a triple mechanism of action. Number one, it reduces the aqueous production. Number two, it enhances the aqueous aggression. And number three, it reduces further intraocular pressure by reducing the excessive venous pressure, excessive aqueous flow by dilating the episcleral veins. So the brand name of this drug, which is available in the United States of America and was approved by the US FDA in 2018, is the Ropresa. It is by the RA Pharma. And as I said, that it has a dual mechanism of action, at least by inhibiting the NET and by inhibiting the ROCK enzymes. And the reduction in the intraocular pressure is somewhere around 5 to 6 millimeter of mercury. But I will tell you that, in our clinical practice, we do not see that much of reduction in the intraocular pressure. The another drug which I was telling to you is of the same class, is the ROCK inhibitor, and is available in the Japanese market with the name of Glenate. It was available in Japanese market back in 2016, and we have used this drug from 2017 to 2019 through some of our patients. But obviously, we were not impressed that much because with this drug, and as you can compare the Glenate and the Ropresa, similar to the Uniprospan and other PG analog, it has a more active drug in it. It is present in a higher concentration, but still the IOP lowering efficacy of treprostinil is less than the nitarsodil. And obviously the dosing of this is also twice a day. There are lots of side effects with Rho kinase inhibitor. The most important is the hyperemia. It is almost present in almost 30% of our patients, and in some of the patients, it is more than what you get with the PG analog. It causes lots of burning and irritation, at least for a couple of weeks in a patient, and it is very irritating to the patient. The IOP lowering as an add-on and medication is not very exciting, and it goes up to 2 to 4 millimeter of mercury. Obviously, it has some additional properties and it's considered to be a cornea clearing agent. But obviously, there is a big question mark on that because in some patients, it causes corneal edema as well. The mechanism could be because it may cause the cataract-like changes in some of the patients. So this is one of my patients where you can see that huge vasodilatation after installation of the Rhopressa. And here, after putting up the biosimilar molecule, which is available in India, you can see that lots of hyperemia was present after a couple of days of putting the biosimilar molecule. After a couple of months, some of the patients, they develop this kind of corneal verticillata, and even their vision goes down. And once you discontinue the medication, a couple of months later, this corneal verticillata disappears. So the ROCK inhibitors have some advantages. You know, this is a new class of drug, and non-inferior to the beta blocker, once a day dosing, and probably it has an additional property like neuroprotection and endothelial protection, but lots of disadvantages like conjunctival hyperemia. And practically, in my opinion, it is inferior to the beta blocker, causes lots of corneal verticillata in lots of patients, and poor tolerability. There is a new combination of drug with the name of Roclatan, which is considered to be the most potent anti-glaucoma drug. It's not yet available in India, but I have used in a couple of patients, and it causes a huge amount of hyperemia because both the ROCK inhibitor and PG analog both are notorious for causing conjunctival hyperemia. And there are some sustained release PG analog is out, and similarly this time metoprolol insert, they are also out because the patient were not able to tolerate. But this new intracameral implant is the Duresta from the Allergan. Now, probably it may come in India. It is injected into the anterior chamber and it settles down at 6 o'clock position. It's biodegradable and it has a capability of reducing the intraocular pressure up to almost 6 months following the insertion, and it's available in 10 microgram dosing. That has a 10 microgram of dimetoprolol in it. There are some preservative. Just I'm concluding. Just last slide. So the last is the new lasers. So obviously there is no new laser available. The SLT is almost 20 years old, so there is no point in talking to them. All of us are very familiar. The G6 probe and the micropulse transscleral therapy, which I have started using from 2014. So that is also pretty old. And CPC is also very old. But yes, people keep on talking about the micropulse laser, which is superior to that. But in my experience, I don't consider it superior to the TSCPC because I use particularly in the blind eye, and the TSCPC works very well. Thank you very much.